Hello and welcome to the Shrewscast. Now, for the last few Shrewscasts, we've looked at what's going on in Shrewsbury House. Today, basically, we've talked to our gardeners, we've talked to Kathleen Ain, the manager. But this time, we thought we'd ring the changes a little bit and talk to one of our users. And, in fact, one of our longest-standing users, or certainly, probably, if he doesn't mind me saying, one of our oldest current users. I'm standing in front of me here in the Shrewscast area up at the top of the house. I've got John Whybrow, who I've dragged away from the short mat bowls this morning to talk a little bit about his experience of living in this area, living in Woolwich, Plumstead, and his experience as a user of Shrewsbury House. So first of all, good morning, John. Thank you very much for joining us for the Shrewscast. I had the pleasure last night of reading your autobiography, which your family published.
You managed to stay awake all the way through it?
I read it in one sitting.
Oh,
and it struck me that yours is a classic sort of Woolwich and Plumstead life. And it really encompasses, well, you won't mind me saying, more than 90 years worth of life in this area. And your life has covered the sort of arc of how this area has developed from the time when Woolwich Arsenal was a thriving factory for the government, research and development and so on, right the way through to now when, obviously, Woolwich has changed a lot. But let me start by asking you, what was your first experience of Shrewsbury House?
My first was when I brought my children up here. I had 4 children, and this was an ideal place to bring them. There's plenty of activities for them, keep them amused. And I must say it's been a godsend to my family in particular in several different ways, and myself predominantly, really, because since I lost my wife, this place has been my second home.
And I have to say that John has presented a copy of his book to the library here at Shrewsbury House, and it has a dedication to Shrewsbury House for all that it's given to him and his family, which we're really touched by. When you began to bring your kids up here, this is what, in the late 50s, early 60s?
Well, as I say, my oldest boy now is 60, so I suppose we're going back quite a bit. It must have been, I suppose, 60s, yeah.
Yeah, and what kind of activities was the house offering back then? Because then it was run by Woolwich, wasn't it?
It was all done by Woolwich, yes. It was all just sort of children's entertainment and stuff like this. But it served them well. They enjoyed it. They used to come up here and play games and run about, as far as I could know, because I never stayed, so I disappeared quick.
As an adult coming back then, when did you stay, and what did you stay for?
I came back, basically, as I say, I'd lost my wife. We'd been married for a good number of years. I'd been with her since she was 15 years old. We were both dancers. She was on stage, but also keen on ballroom dancing. So we were dancing most nights of the week. So our life was active. When she died, my 4 children had grown up and left home. I was sitting there on my own. And I came up here one day, and the porter downstairs, chatting to him, and he said, "Why don't you go and have a look at the bowls?" So I said, "Well, I've never played bowls in my life, but in for a penny." So I walked upstairs, got chatting to the bowlers down there. They were most welcoming. Went in, had a few throws at it. Thought, oh, this is not too bad. Now I'm at it 3 days a week and playing for the county and playing for the borough and going to Potters and virtually getting knackered. Yeah, but no, it's been a godsend to me, this place. Right. It has, really.
And I should just say, John's talked about playing for the borough and so on, and his sort of wider life, reading his book. You began life as a hairdresser, am I right?
I was. I started life in Woolwich, did my apprenticeship in New Road as a hairdresser, gents hairdresser. Mm. I then went to London Bridge and had the salon on London Bridge Station. Did that for a number of years, got fed up with the travelling on the train, decided to open my own shop up in Lakedale Road. It went well to start with, but then the hippie era came in, the long hair and all the rest of it. Bottom dropped out of it. So I joined the MOD police, which was the best thing I ever did.
And we'll come on to that in a minute, but ironically, your family, if reading again your book, had already had an encounter with the MOD or certainly the authorities, because you allude in your book to your father, in fact.
My father was in the arsenal, yes.
Yes, and being vetted by, we assume, Special Branch or MI5,
That's
because
right,
he was working on the British atom bomb project with William Penny, which a lot of the research took place.
It's all top secret stuff.
That's yeah.
So I can't say much about it because I don't know anything about it. All I know, it was top secret and he was doing it.
Yeah. But people listening to the Shrewscast might not be aware, but a lot of the research for the British atomic bomb deterrent was carried out here in Woolwich in the 1950s, and in fact at the former Atomic Weapons Research Establishment, Ha Ha Road.
That's
just
right.
down by...
My mother worked there.
Right.
Yeah.
So there, a lot of people were working on some very, very secret squirrel stuff here in the area. One of the other connections that comes out of your book, or almost connections, obviously you're of a generation that did national service, and you were once briefly almost in the Royal Artillery?
I was briefly in the artillery. Because of my bad fate and my skiving attitude, I managed to get kicked out of the artillery, and I went into the tank corps. In the tank corps, they put me into a Centurion Mark II tank and made me a gunner, which was lovely until you fired the gun. And then you're sitting behind it, the breech block comes back, you've got a loud noise in your ear, and after that you can't hear for 10 minutes. So I thought, I don't like this. And being the type of work I am, I got transferred out of the tank corps.
And you ended up in Germany?
I finished up in the service corps in Germany, a place called Warnerheide, just down the road from Elvis. And I had a good time out there, yeah. They made me the RSM's clerk. I was pretty useless at typing, so I finished up looking after the staff canteen for 12 people, looking after the bar, which meant I had to go down into Cologne, pick up the cigarette rations, etc., etc. I had a cushy life.
Sounds like classic British Army, though. There's you as a professional hairdresser, and they get you typing up documents.
I used to cut their hair, yes.
Oh, you did used to cut their hair as well? Okay.
Yes, I used to cut their hair, but that was just sideline.
And I guess to pull it back to Shrewsbury House, I could talk to you all morning about this stuff. Actually, there's many things in your book which I'd like to pick off. And John and his family have very kindly donated a copy to the library here at Shrewsbury House in room 3, and you are very welcome. Please come and come in. I
enjoy it.
Yeah.
As I say, I wrote it basically for my children, but I didn't think it'd cause such a stir.
Well, I think one of the things you've mentioned is that you've also done oral history for the Arsenal from your time as a Ministry of Defence police officer, and how important preserving those kind of memories are. My day job as a historian, and absolutely those kind of memoirs are really, really important. If you were writing specifically today about the importance of somewhere like Shrewsbury House, what would you want to tell the people who are listening to this particular interview?
Shrewsbury House has always been most welcoming. The current manageress is first class. She's done wonders for us. The community, the bowling community, and now that I've got Alzheimer's coming on, they tell me, they've got a Alzheimer's club down there which we attend. That again is a good afternoon. Thoroughly enjoy it. I won't say it's helping my Alzheimer's, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And all in all, I mean, it's nice to meet with people that are friendly, sociable, and you can get on, say what you like, more or less.
We have a good relationship with the Royal Borough of Greenwich at the moment.
Yeah,
Obviously, we have a what we call a service level agreement with Greenwich in terms of some of the things we do, including things like supporting the community and our groups that support people living with Alzheimer's and their families are just part of that. What would you say to the council about the work that we do here?
I'm not the greatest fan of the Greenwich Council, I must admit, but...
You're allowed not to be. You're allowed not to be.
It's... I mean, they keep the house going, which is the main thing. I mean, without this place, I would have been lost. There's nothing else in the area that can sort of cope with it anymore. As I say, being 90 years old, and my children are all married, offhand, earning their own livings, doing their own thing. I've come up here, and as I say, I met somebody who's in the same position. We get on well together, and it's been a godsend to me, this place, definitely. My life carried on, and whereas I would have just sat indoors with nothing to do and nowhere to go and nobody to talk to, the house has come to my rescue.
And I think that's a very good point on which to end. So, John Whybrow, thank you very much for talking to the Shrewscast.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's this month's Shrewscast, but looking ahead, we've got a number of events that really you might be interested in getting in early, because tickets are flying out the door for the Arts Music Lounge Vinyl Dance Party on Friday the 17th of October, and then a really special event on Thursday the 30th of October. It's a special concert in aid of the Guide Dogs. Well, it said actually here on my sheet, Guide Dogs Concert. I don't think that's the dogs actually giving the concert. But anyway, so Thursday the 30th of October, Guide Dog Concert. Tickets are definitely flying out the door for our double-header Halloween party on Friday the 31st of October, Halloween itself. Between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a kids' Halloween party, and then 8 till late Halloween for adults. Make of that what you want to. Tickets are available from Shrewsbury House.